Jake Borup is a former ASU pitcher and Phillies minor leaguer. He was the epitome of health until one day he was facing his last strike. Cronkite sports reporter Jaxson Webster has more on how Borup got the save of a lifetime.
Former ASU and Phillies minor league pitcher Jake Borup retired over a decade ago. Still, he's a popular face at Sun Devil baseball games who coaches his own kids and other aspiring pitchers.
Every time spring training comes around, it's like I miss baseball, right? But I love baseball so much that I still appreciate the game, even though I'm not playing it anymore.
Everyone's friend, as Borup is known, still trained and worked out every day like a big leaguer. He was the epitome of health. But all of a sudden, something felt off.
I would get on the stairs for 1 minute and I would feel like my lungs were collapsing, like there was somebody sitting on me. And I didn't think it was a heart attack, right? A heart attack is for, older folks.
On October 28th, 2022, Jake was at the gym with his wife Shay, which was unusual for their schedules. Jake had felt something in his chest for a while and had mentioned that he should go see a doctor, but didn't. While doing part of his workout, the pain wouldn't go away. Shay and Jake immediately headed to the hospital.
We get in the car and he's literally had to climb, throw his legs with his arms into the car. I'm driving and he just he laid the seat down as far as it would go, and then he keeps sitting up in pain and, saying some words that I'm not gonna repeat, but just in agony, was complaining that he was losing his eyesight, felt like he was gonna pass out. Next thing I know, I looked over and his eyes were just fixed open.
I remember waking up probably 15, 20 minutes later, and that's when I had all these doctors and nurses around me. Just all sorts of EKG and all sorts of wires coming out of me, and I'm looking at this doctor what's going on? And he's like, dude, you're having a massive heart attack. I'm like, what? A heart attack? I'm 35 years old. I'm healthy, how am I having a heart attack? And that's when I passed out, and I don't remember anything for about 40, 45 days.
Within 30 minutes of arriving at Banner Gateway Hospital, Jake was transported to Banner Heart Hospital by ambulance. Shay followed closely behind him.
And I was in the waiting room maybe 8 minutes before they called code blue. Had become stable, but they were working on him in the cath lab still. So I'm just in the waiting room, just totally unsure of what happened. We're just at the gym, we're just in Montana last week, Disneyland 3 weeks ago, what is my life right now? And who do I call? What do I tell? Do I tell my kids? I don't know what's going on.
Jake was transferred to Banner University in downtown Phoenix by helicopter, his third hospital after his heart stopped twice earlier in the day. Jake doesn't remember a thing, but knows it was hard for himself and his family.
The sad part is that most people who go on life support with what I have don't make it out.
With thousands of people asking about Jake's condition, Shay started Jake's Big Heart, an Instagram account that posted daily from the time of Jake's heart attack to the new year.
I made it, and it became therapeutic, and it became a real place of people being invested in his story.
Jake would be on and off a ventilator 3 times in November alone.
Second time he was off the ventilator, he actually coded again. And I was standing out. I had just gotten to the hospital that morning, 8 a.m., and I picked up the phone and said, I'm here for 7:16, and they said, can you wait just a minute? And within 30 seconds, they called code blue on his room, and I just went into a panic attack, and they came out and told me they did CPR on him for 2 minutes, and they got him stable again, but they had to put the ventilator back in, and that's what saved his life. So it's just, again, this vicious cycle of he's never gonna be off this ventilator, he can't do it on his own.
The turning point came about a month after Jake's heart attack when Dr. Orazio Amabile fought hard to perform a surgery that would place a left ventricular assist device in Jake's chest. It was a Hail Mary, but they couldn't sit and wait any longer.
And I was just slowly deteriorating, and my wife was watching this, and she's like, I can't watch him go like this any longer. So whatever you do, let's do it. I don't care if he dies during that process. I would rather go out trying, right? For a baseball term, go down swinging.
The surgery was successful, and on December 12th, Shay described Jake as being the most clear-headed he had been since October. 10 days later, Jake would leave the hospital.
He didn't just go home 1 day before Christmas or 2. He went home 3 days before Christmas.
A really weird and tough trial to go through, but thankfully I made it out. Thankfully I'm here, and I get to hang out with my family and continue going. So
Throughout his time in the hospital, Jake went from weighing 240 pounds to only 168. He's currently back to working out and living off of his LVAD, which is quite literally a battery attached to his heart that he keeps in a fanny pack. The next step for Jake is getting healthy enough for a heart transplant.
The process now is that I'm trying to get stronger, trying to get my body healthier for a heart transplant, and we're kind of in the middle of that process to get on the list.
Jake even got back on the same machine he first knew something was wrong on just a week ago, and he's hoping to get a heart transplant within the next year. From Queen Creek, Jaxson Webster, Cronkite Sports Report.
We wish Borup all the best in his recovery.